So, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Welcome to the online meeting of Thank God It's Friday. I am pleased to be your host for today's meeting. In the online meeting environment, there are few instructions that we follow. I request you to rename yourself. All Toastmasters can prefix TM to your name, and guest can get prefix guest. I would request you to type in the chat box and make the session more interesting. You are all requested to keep your audio on mute in case you aren't speaking. We know it's dinner time. You may turn on the video and show us your culinary skills. Please feel free to invite us at your home for dinner sometime. You can connect with the Tech Master for any technical glitch. The Tech Master for today's meeting is myself. This meeting is being recorded. In case you have any reservations, please let us know. You can network after the meeting. Let me share the mission. We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. I welcome the speaker for today's event to take you through the wonderful ride. The Toastmaster has been, our guest speaker has been a Toastmaster since September 2020. And in these few last 1 year, he has become the president and vice president education at various clubs in Bangalore. He is the current area director of Area B3 at District 92, winner of 4 Pathbreaker Awards, an outstanding Toastmaster, and a Grand Slam Master Mentor Award from District 92. He has been a club mentor, a club coach, a club sponsor of various clubs in District 92. Outside Toastmasters, he is a vice president marketing and business development at Aptus Data Labs, and he has been the ex-director Target JCPenney. He's a former visiting faculty at Mudra Institute of Communications, Ahmedabad. With a warm round of applause, let's welcome Toastmaster Sourav. Toastmaster Sourav, the stage is yours.
Thank you. May I know who's the timer? Do we have a timer today? We sure have, right?
You can continue. We can keep it.
No, just to keep a
Okay.
check on time, can you play the timer
Yes,
role
sure.
game, Anand? Okay.
Yes,
I believe it's a 1 hour session.
correct. So
So
you would
do
like to have,
35 minutes or maybe 40 minutes of the discussion, and then after that we can have 15 minutes of Q&A, right? So if you can show me the cards at 30, 35, 40.
okay.
Okay, because I can continue speaking on and on and on. So I don't want to do
Okay, perfect. Sure.
that. Okay, great. So today's session is about micro expressions. So very honestly, when I was asked to take the session, I was myself not very sure what does micro expressions mean. When I saw the poster, that's when I realized that this is what micro expressions is all about. Great. So let us start with understanding why do we even need micro expressions. And let me start with a question. Uh, when we drink, whatever we drink, right? Alcohol, non-alcoholic beverage. I'm not trying to find out who drinks alcohol and all that here. Very simple question. What do we do when we drink? What's the action? We just take the glass and then what do we do? We do a cheers. Why do we and when we do the cheers, what do we do? We cling the glasses. Any idea why do we do that? Anyone who does not do that, anyone who just takes the drink and just gulps it. No one, right? So why do you do that? It never crossed
Uh,
your mind.
to measure that the liquid is of the same size in both the glasses.
That's when you're drinking with
Can
pals.
I try?
Protocol.
Sorry?
Protocol.
Protocol. Okay. So let me answer that question. Uh, just let's think about the action of drinking. Okay. When we drink from a Swarovski crystal glass versus when we drink from a plastic glass, does it feel different? It does, right? I mean, when you're drinking from a Swarovski crystal glass, that's why the five-star hotels charge you so much. For the same drink, where you can get a full bottle, you pay for one peg. Why do you do that? Because of the ambience, because of the feel of the glass. Now, Imagine that you are a whiskey drinker and I'm giving you a whiskey and I'm saying, you see that the color of the whiskey is green. Would you be comfortable drinking it? No, right? So we see the drink. We see the drink. Next, we take the drink and then we smell the drink. Imagine it's a whiskey, but it smells like petrol. It tastes like whiskey, I promise. Okay? But it smells like petrol. Would you still trust me and drink it? You won't. So then what do? We smell the drink. After that, what do? We taste the drink. And the whiskey has to taste like whiskey, the coke has to taste like coke. So what are you noticing here? Touch matters. Then the taste matters. The smell matters. The color, what we are seeing, matters. There's only one sense that is not coming into play, which is
Visual,
sound.
sound. Yeah.
So, to bring in that fifth sense into play when we are drinking, that's the reason we clink the glasses and say cheers. If you Google about the history of why do we say cheers, this is the history why it all started. Because when we are drinking, we want all the five senses to come into play to get the full pleasure of drinking. So much for having a glass of wine or a peg of whiskey. So that's the importance of bringing all the senses into play when we are trying to have an experience, whether that's drinking or speaking or listening to a speech. Now, in 2019 BC, is it before Corona? Okay, so in 2019 BC, when we used to meet physically, at that time, we had the luxury of being in the same room. We would smell the same coffee which is being served in the lobby. We would see the same color of the wall. We would shake hands with each other. And there was so much of interaction, so much of senses that were coming into play. But today, what's happening? Today, the only two senses that we are using to communicate with each other is the visual sense and the auditory sense. So there is no tactile, nothing tactile here, nothing to taste, nothing to touch, nothing to feel. So when you are trying to say something, you need to express it in a way so that the audience is able to relate with the speech, not with two senses, but with the maximum number of senses that you can bring into play. And how beautiful it can be done, it's a coincidence, by the way, it was not a plot what I want to tell you now. How beautifully it can be done, I realized at the Voltaire Toastmaster Club. Toastmaster Santosh Akela, do you remember you giving a speech about an aircraft incident, about a bird getting caught when a flight was going? Do you remember that speech of yours, Toastmaster Santosh? Toastmaster Santosh, are you there? Okay, so Toastmaster Santosh had actually given this speech at the Voltaire Toastmasters Club, and this was very early days of my Toastmasters journey. And I was amazed by the way he made that speech. Honestly, I did not know that he will be attending the meeting today. But because I saw him there, I thought that, and since there is no callback disqualification in a keynote session, I can always use this I can always leverage his presence here. Right? It was a contest and I could not do that. So I was amazed the way he talked about it. So he was talking about a plane and how they were flying the plane and how they avoided an accident. And he talked about, the burning smell that's coming in and the flutter of the bird and all those kind of things. I could literally visualize this entire incident that he was talking about the plane going and hitting a bird or something like on those lines. And that was one of the moments when I realized the power of using the five senses, the way you're crafting your speech, the way you're crafting your speech. Why is it so important? Prior to that, whenever I would see some of the, Toastmaster speeches, I would feel that why is there so much of drama? Why is it that, people are doing role play, looking at each other, trying to do something funny, jumping from here to there? Why don't you just sit somewhere and just give a speech? Why is it that you need to do so much of jumping around? When you see any of the WCPS speakers, you would probably have the same question if you're in early days of Toastmaster, because honestly speaking, none of us outside Toastmaster delivers a speech like this. If you look at a TED talk, in fact, they're supposed to stand on that red spot and deliver the entire speech. They're not supposed to move out of the red spot. In Toastmasters, if you look at the WCPS speeches, if you look at Ramona Smith's speech, she actually moves all over the stage, right? Scene one, I'm still standing. Scene two, I'm still standing. Scene three, I'm still standing. And she does all of that and she becomes the WCPS champion. If she would do such a speech in TED, obviously she would not even be qualified. She will not be even allowed to do that. So in Toastmasters, why do we do this? Why do we bring in so much of this thing? Because in the objective of a Toastmaster speech is to inspire your audience, to inform your audience, to motivate your audience in just a 5 to 7 minutes duration. Remember, if it's a longer speech, like today I have the luxury of almost 40 minutes of speech, but in Toastmasters, 90% of your project you have got only 5 to 7 minutes. 5 to 7 minutes to talk about a research and presentation, 5 to 7 minutes to talk about leading a voluntary organization, 5 to 7 minutes to do your first speech where you're receiving feedback or implementing feedback. So in 5 to 7 minutes, if you need to have the same kind of impact, you do not have a choice but to bring the maximum number of senses into play. Otherwise, you will never be able to make that impact. Because if you get a longer duration to make your point, you can have a longer runway, you can have a longer build up, and then you can, kind of anchor the story on something, and then you can have a lot of takeaways, you can have a lot of audience interaction. But when you're trying to do that in 5 to 7 minutes, you cannot, kind of spread so much. You have a lot of limitation in terms of time. And there it becomes very important for you that whenever we are giving a speech, we bring all the emotions into play. We try to bring all the emotions into play. So let us see some illustration of how that happens. Imagine, okay, I'm telling you my story of meeting my daughter for the first time. So my daughter adopted us when she was 6 months old. And I was in US and I flew to Bhubaneswar directly after landing, after just touch and go from Bangalore. And when I reached Bhubaneswar, I held my daughter in my arms and then she looked at me. And that was a meltdown moment for me. Now let me tell you the whole story again, the way it should be told. I was on a speedboat in Minnesota with my boss. I was tensed. I was anxious because this was the first time that I was riding a speedboat. I was going vroom, and suddenly my phone rings. I pick up the phone. It's from India. It's an international roaming call, an unidentified number. It better not be a credit card company again trying to sell me a credit card. I pick up the phone and I'm told, "Hi, Sourav. We are calling from so and so department, and your application for adoption has been approved. In the next 14 days, you have to be back in India. You have to be in Bhubaneswar and you have to meet your child and take for foster care." I didn't know how to react to that. It was a 7 years waiting period coming to an end. And I was in the middle of a big lake in US. And within 14 days, I have to be back in US, back to India, and meet my daughter. I told my boss. He said, "You can leave right now." I said, "I can't. There's too much of work to do. I'll probably leave on the 14th day." I leave on the 14th day. My trip ends, my business trip ends. I take my flight. Lot of anxiety. My heart was beating faster than the fastest train that you know in the world. I land at Bangalore. My wife meets me at the airport. We look at each other. We don't know what to say. Normally, parenthood comes with a 9 months of practice period, 9 months of setting expectation. For us, it was happening overnight. We didn't even know whether to feed the newborn baby, what to feed her, how to make her sleep, how to make her play, how to know she's crying because she's hungry or she's crying because she's in bad mood. With all those apprehensions going on in our mind, we land in Bhubaneswar. It's a different city in India, for those who don't know the Indian geography. The moment we landed, the first thing that I did, I called up this orphanage and said, I want to meet her now. They said, it's Sunday. I said, that's fine. I still want to meet her. Even for 15 seconds, that's enough for me. I go there. I enter the building. I walk towards the room. And they show me the baby in a cot. That's your child. I pick up the child in my arm. I look at her in her eyes. She looks back at me, gives me a smile. Then she holds my chin, and I melt. Even when I tell the story today, 7 years later, I still get goosebumps. I pick her up in my arms, I hold her close to me, and I smell her. That smell of innocence, that is something that I can never forget in my entire life. And I bet you can never forget this story in your entire life. So, Toastmasters, it's all about how we express, it's all about how we bring these emotions into play. When we are angry, when we are happy, when we are sad. So, let us do a little bit of practice today and see how much of an emotion we can bring in, right? When we are trying to make a speech. So, the same line we can say in various ways. And this is one of my favorite. My wife beat me in chess again. My wife beat me in chess again. Right? So let us practice with that line. Let us imagine that I'm angry that my wife has beaten me in chess again. So how would we do that? You can make it my husband if you want, for all the ladies here. My husband beat me in chess again, if that suits you. Okay? So any volunteers for that? When you are angry. Come on, give it a shot. Okay, let me do the angry one first. It comes easily to me, okay? My wife beat me in chess again. No, not coming. Anyone wants to do it better? Chin, my husband beat me in chess again. If you don't have a husband, you can say boyfriend or a friend, dad, mom, doesn't matter. If you're angry, someone you play chess with, and you have been beaten time and again by that person, how would you express it?
Shall I try?
Yes, please.
Yeah, please.
My brother beat me in the chess this time also.
Okay, good. Very good. Now, can we do it in a sarcastic way? Someone else in a sarcastic way? Yes, Preeti.
My husband, he beat me in the chest again.
Awesome. Okay. Now, can someone do it in a hopeless way? Like, again, I mean, I'm gone. I'm so pathetic. Again, in a hopeless way. Like, I'm giving up on myself. I'm like so bad, man. I mean, why even am I here? Tejas.
Yeah, my friend beat me in chess again.
That's a lot of sadness. Okay.
Out of character for me, but I tried.
Okay. Um, Someone can do it in a very sad way, like genuinely sad. Like you lost to someone, like that emotion that comes to you when you lose in a speech contest. Anyone who has lost in a speech contest, apart from me. So, That same emotion, like, I got beaten in the speech contest again and again. Anyone? Yeah, Ashwini.
In the sad mood,
Sad
right?
one, yeah.
Sad expressions. My husband beaten me in the chest again.
That touched a nerve. Thank you. Okay, so what essentially happens? See, it's not difficult, right? I mean, you could do it. Whether it was the perfect emotion or not, that is not important here. What is important is that you could break the shackle. See, when I had spent a good amount of my life doing theaters, street plays, particularly street plays. And one of the most difficult things to do in a street play is crying. You know why it is difficult doing a crying scene? Because we are worried how are people going to react when we are doing a crying scene. But when we are actually crying, when we have a heartbreak, when someone dies, when we see a sad scene in the movie, do we worry? How is my friend going to react if I'm crying? Because the emotion comes from inside and therefore it gets expressed very naturally. So that is the hardest part. The hardest part is not to emote it, but it's about us judging ourselves. Am I laughing beautifully? Am I smiling nicely? Am I crying genuinely? So these are the thoughts that go on in our mind. So the best way of avoiding this, and this is where the Zoom land is going to be really helpful, is do not put on the gallery view. Put it on the speaker view. Look at yourself and do it. Right now I put it on the gallery view. But if I would have been doing this for a speech contest, I would put myself in the speaker view so that I can only look at myself. And when you look at yourself, then you do not have the fear of being judged. You don't have the fear of, is someone going to laugh on my jokes? Is someone going to feel really empathetic or sympathetic when I'm crying? Because it doesn't matter to you. So when we are starting this journey of micro expressions or adding expressions to our speeches, the first and foremost thing that we need to do is not to decide at the very beginning that this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to smile, I'm going to laugh, I'm going to cry, I'm going to do this or do that. And this is where, I'll go back to the speech of Toastmaster Santosh. So when he was talking about that particular story, I'll come to that tactical part, Gopika, about how do we view the timer. I think that's a very important question. How to view the timer. So when we are coming to the tactical, when he was talking about that particular story, one of the most beautiful things I liked about that particular story is that he did not bring in any of those expressions just for the sake of bringing in those expressions. It was naturally fitting into the story. So you should never determine that I cry so well, I smile so well, I laugh so well, I must do this. So one of the very important things that we must remember is that our speech has to be sincere and not sensational, right? And if our speech has to be sincere, the emotion that we are expressing has to be something which comes from inside. So the first and foremost important thing here is to understand what are we trying to communicate? What is the message that we are trying to send out? What is the purpose of the speech? Are we trying to inspire someone? Are we trying to motivate someone? Are we trying to influence someone? Are we trying to educate someone? So based on that, we will have to add the micro expressions. The micro expressions has to be used as an accessory. It should not be the center of attraction here. It should not be the hero of the story. And this is where a lot of us go wrong, because we always try to make it a hero of the story. And with this, I see another person who is the master of micro expressions, Toastmaster Deepa Sampath Kumar. I think she has some beautiful micro. Deepa, we just missed a very beautiful exercise we did now, where we were practicing giving micro expressions. So we'll again start with a new line since Deepa is here, and we'll again redo this exercise in some time, where I'm going to give out a line and then everyone is expressing that in various ways. So someone is laughing, someone is feeling sad, someone is crying, and those kind of things are happening here. So we're going to practice that. Anyways, so when you have decided that I want to use micro expressions, that my speech has a scope of using micro expression, then the most important thing for you to decide is, what am I comfortable doing? What happens is that we see some speakers, like for example, one of the prolific speakers that I've seen is when it comes to micro expressions is Farzi, and the way he uses micro expressions, I mean, that is something that comes naturally to him. I think a lot of you would have seen Farzi's speeches and you would have seen him in action, right? So, the moment he comes on screen, the expressions start coming naturally on his face. And I'm not like that. And I can't be like that without a lot of practice. So I need to understand my strength and my weakness. And I understand my strength is that I can do something which suits my personality. I cannot do something which does not suit my personality. So do not try to fit yourself to the macro expressions. That is one important aspect of it. So once you decide that this is my speech, these are the micro expressions which are required to make this speech beautiful or make effective. And these are the micro expressions I can pull off very naturally. Then it should become an integral part of your speech. And if you're really wanting to use micro expressions and make your speech so dramatic, it is important that you internalize the speech so many times and you are so good on time that you really don't need to look at the timer. Because if you know that my speech is going to end at 6 minutes 30 seconds or 6 minutes 45 seconds or 7 minutes, then that is good enough. That is something that you need to practice. You really do not need to look at the timer when you are making a contest speech. Most of the speakers who are making a contest speech, they know exactly that their speech is going to end at 7 minutes. That's the extent in which you have to practice. And there's something that Verity also mentioned when Verity Price did a session with us, and she mentioned the same thing. Internalize the speech so many times that you know that at 1 minute 45 seconds I will take a deep breath. At 2 minutes 15 seconds I would give a smirk. At 3 minutes I would take a pause. At 4 minutes 40 seconds I would take a step back. And that is the extent to which you have to internalize the speech. So when you do that, then in that case, you really do not need to pay attention to the timer. In fact, when you are paying attention to the timer when you are giving a speech, trust me, the judges can see it. Your eye goes like this, and the moment it happens, you lose a mark or a couple of marks there in terms of eye contact. And if it's a close call, that could be the difference between the first position and the second position. So, to Gopika, to your question, please don't concentrate on the timer. Concentrate on the speech. And if you're very conscious, if you're someone like Farzi, like I think he can get started anywhere with his micro expressions, then you can put it in the gallery mode and you can. But if you're someone like me, who's very conscious about the audience, in that case, it's better to put it in the speaker view. Look at yourself and deliver, because you will not have that fear of getting judged by other people. So with this, let us again do a little bit of practice and see. Now we are going to give you a line, and this line you will have to use any expression that you think you are comfortable with. So the previous time I told you can cry or you can smile or whatever, but this time you decide which is that micro expression that you can very easily pull off, right? And this is a very easy line. Today is a lovely day. Today is a lovely day. So it could be that you're talking about it sarcastically because you woke up in the morning and the moment you landed from your bed, boss called you and he told you that you need to come to office early. You started off and you hit someone's car, and then you jumped the signal and the cops caught you. You got a ticket. So you're being sarcastic. Today is a lovely day, right? Or the day is actually very lovely because you're having some great moments happening. Or it could be that you're very angry with the day because things have been so bad that you're really frustrated. So now you think which expression is something that you are very comfortable with, and this line we are going to do with that same expression which you are comfortable with. So who's going to go first? Sarah. First, think which expression you want to use.
Happy?
Happy. Okay.
This seems to be a very lovely day.
Look at us and say, no. Why are you looking up at the ceiling?
Today
Look at
seems
the
to be
camera.
a very lovely day.
Fantastic. A lot of smile, lot of grin, lot of genuine happiness. Good job. Okay, who's going to go next? And which expression are you going to give us?
I'll go next.
Yes, Tejas.
Okay. I'll try angry.
Yes.
Today is a lovely day, isn't it?
Okay, that's like Arnav Goswami. Today is a lovely day. Right? Okay. Who's going to go next? Come on, Deepa. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. A sarcastic way.
Okay.
Today is a lovely day.
Little bit of grinding of the teeth, Deepa. One more time.
Today is a lovely day.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay, so this is the entire thing about having using micro expressions in various lines. Now let us take it a little forward, and let us now try to do a little bit of micro expressions in the speeches itself. Okay, so I'm going to give you a table topic. We're going to do a quick table topic, so 1 to 2 minutes. Again, I would request Anand to time the speakers. And this time, whatever topic we are going to give, we're going to give a speech with micro expressions, with the expressions that comes naturally to you. Okay. So, but again, don't commit to an expression at the very beginning that I'm going to be a happy speaker, I'm going to be a sad speaker. First, think about the topic. So, deal with the topic the way you would deal with the topic. Don't get obsessed with expressions. Okay. So, let's start with the topic. Anyone, any volunteers before I dish out the topic? It's a normal table topic, just that you have to have micro expressions. Okay, Tejas. We'll go with Tejas first. Okay, Tejas.
Yeah.
Great. I'll give you my favorite topic. Alexa, turn off my emotions. Alexa, turn off my emotions.
Swish. That's the sound a basketball makes when it hits the basket. Isn't it beautiful? Yeah, it is. But you know what happened 3 days back? I was playing 5v5. Okay. Five of us competing with another team of five, which was quite good at basketball as compared to the five of us. We were doing okayish at the start, but what happened is they scored multiple threes. So we started off 0-all. We were scoring a basket, they were scoring a basket. 2-all, 4-2, and they went 4-2 or 4-all, 6-4, 8-4, and they were winning. But then guess what? We started going up, and we were at 2016, and we were about to win. But guess what? I did a turnover, which means when we had a chance to shoot a basket, I accidentally gave a pass to the opponent's team. And after that, they scored 3 twos together and we lost. That is when I came home and told Alexa, Alexa, turn off my emotions. I was sad for an entire day. We were about to defeat a team which was way better than us. But I lost that opportunity. I do not know if I'll get to hear the swish sound again. But I do hope I'm able to build the courage, go back to the court, face the same team, be in the 2016 situation and win it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Tejas. I think great attempt. Tejas, I think you were a bit obsessed with the micro expressions, right? Because you got a little bit drifted away from the core topic of Alexa turned off my emotions, right? And this is exactly what I was saying, that when you pledge yourself or you commit yourself to bring in expressions, micro expressions, or something or the others in your speech, it is very natural that your speech will get hijacked. And this is exactly, I think, what happened. If I would have taken out this entire micro expressions thing, I think your speech would have been more around Alexa turned off my emotions. Right? So you got into the basketball, you were thinking where I can express my emotions, and you thought about the basketball story and you somehow fitted it back to Alexa saying that I came back home and Alexa turned off my emotions, right? So I think you could have done a much better job if you would have taken these micro expressions out of your mind. And this is exactly what I'm saying that happens with us. Because when we are too obsessed in terms of how we're going to express ourselves, that is when this trouble starts happening. Right? So the next speaker, please keep this out of your mind that we are going to use micro expressions. Just deal with it as a normal table topic. But when the moment comes, smile or laugh or be angry or do whatever you want to do in the most natural way. Okay, so Anand, I saw that this one, because you're also the table topic timer, so probably you can put my time in the chat box just to avoid confusion. Okay, uh, so I got the green, so which means that we are at 30 minutes. Thank you. So, and who's the next speaker? Preeti. Okay. Uh, Preeti, your topic. Anand, can we go back to the white slide? Yeah, thank you. So, Preeti, your topic is grow through what you go through. Grow through what you go through.
We all go through something or other in our life. Sometimes we feel crushed. Sometimes we feel roasted. Sometimes all lost. But still, there is always a hope. It's just like a seed, a small seed buried under the soil completely and cursing the fate, what will happen to my future? I am buried inside the ground. And then the nature takes its course and slowly it starts sprouting. And the plant grows, and then trees, and then it bears lots of flowers and fruits. This is exactly what happened with my life. N number of times I felt I was buried inside the ground. I have gone through numerous pain, endless lessons, roller coaster rides every time. Slowly, I started understanding that this was all for my growth. Every expressions, experiences, emotions, tasks, all ouch. Everything is coming for my own growth. And the moment I understood this, I started welcoming it. I started going with the flow. It's okay. There must be something hidden, some divine conspiracy. Just be with it. Just have some patience, Preeti, and it will definitely show what's in the store. Now, instead of feeling pain and aches, and instead of saying ouch, I started waiting for the growth, the results, the possibilities, the beauty. And I assure you, grow whatever you go through. Everything happens for a reason. Back to you, Toastmaster Sourav.
Okay. So, what do you think, Preeti? How did you do?
I don't know. I was just
What do you feel?
speaking on the topic.
Every speaker knows how he or she has done.
Um, I was struggling to get my thoughts on track.
So, you had those very beautiful moments, like the moment you said, right? That sarcastic laughter that you had on yourself or on your life. I think that was a perfect moment. That ouch was a perfect moment. But then somewhere, again, I see that micro expression, that tension coming in, that, okay, I have to express myself. Okay, oh, I'm going on a story. I have to come back with an expression. Again, you have to stick to your speech. The expressions are your accessories. And now I'll invite someone who will tell us how exactly it is to be done, okay? Toastmaster Santosh, can we have you as the next speaker?
Hi. Hello. Hi.
Okay. So your topic is, if not now, when? If not now, when?
If not now, then it is later. Friends, I want to tell that we don't have to do everything now. We don't have to get everything now. Because I am in a generation, I am born in a generation where all my fellow millennials, Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they want to get everything now when they are in 20s. They want a house when they are in 20s. They want a Lamborghini or a high-end car when they're in 20s. And they want all the expensive things when they're in 20s. So it's, if not now, then it may be later. The founder of KFC, he got a breakthrough at the age of 66. The founder of Nika, she got a breakthrough at the age of 42. People who are coming on Shark Tank every day, they're getting breakthroughs at various ages. So don't worry if you are not able to get something now, and don't bother about it rather, and just keep working on your dream. And one day you will face it and you will get it and you will achieve it. And that day you will also say that if not now, then maybe later. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Santosh. So anyone else wants to try putting this expressions? Yeah, Vidya. But you have to come on camera to see the micro expressions. Yeah, thank you. Are you ready for the topic?
Yeah.
Loose lips sink ships. Loose lips sink ships.
You know what is the beauty of these quotes? That sometimes you don't understand. And you get into that phase. What should I say now when I get such a beautiful but difficult topic? It is so beautiful to listen, but it is so difficult to understand. Exactly like life. Life is like that. You don't know what happens at what time. Morning, I was so happy. I got up so fresh and I decided, yes, today is the morning that I was waiting for. Yesterday it was so bad, but today I will prove that every day is a new day. And then I get a call. Yes, Bai, what happened? I'm not coming today. Oh no, please, I have so much of work. Please come. She was not coming. Oh God, my plans were different, and what happened to my life? Then my child came to me. I got first prize in competition. I was so happy. Wow, such a beautiful thing to listen, and I was happy again. And then I got a call from my client. Sorry, I'm not taking this project. And he canceled the contract. I was so distressed and I had worked so hard. And that is life, just like some codes that you don't understand. But what you do, you still go on and you still live life with the hope that next day it will be a new day and you will have something to be positive about. Just like this quote, I will go and Google and find out what is this quote all about. And when I get this quote next time, I will show what I can say about this quote. I hope you understood what I want to say. Thank you. Over to you.
Fantastic, Vidya. Hats off to your confidence. Yeah, beautiful, beautifully tackled. I think you also taught us how to tackle a topic when you don't know anything about the topic. Fantastic. I think that is the most important part. Just one tip, Vidya. I mean, when you are doing a facial expressions, it's very important to make an eye contact with the camera, and particularly in Zoom land, please understand this: that when you're looking at me, you're not looking at me. When you're not looking at me, you're looking at me, right? So please always remember this: your eye contact has to be with the camera and not with the audience. That is when the audience feel that they are having an eye contact with them.
Correct.
I think this is one dichotomy that we have to learn to live with in the Zoom land. So with this, we will come to an end. We have come to an end to this session. And Kavita, I'm sorry, or can we take one more? Yeah, Kavita, maybe one topic for you. Okay, so let's practice this because anyways we have got a Q&A of 15 minutes after this, right? We can do that, right? Anant, Sunish, right? Yeah. Okay. So Kavita, your topic is the one that's coming in my mind is actually a little difficult one. Would you want to still try it?
Sure.
Elvis has left the building. Elvis
Come
has
again.
left the building.
Left the wedding.
Building. Elvis has left the building. Do you know the meaning of this quote? No? Okay, let me give you an easier one then. At the end, at the end, we will have it all figured out. At the end, we will have it all figured out.
Okay. Your birth is not determined by you. It is decided by someone else. However, it is a sure thing. Now that you are born, you have to live. But there is total ambiguity all through your life, whether you live 20, 30, 80 years of life. But death is certain. Death. Death. Did you get scared? I do not. Because I know that it's not the end. Death is just a transition. Death is a beautiful transformation. I hope you understand. I'm not trying to pose a philosophical thought, neither an esoteric thought, but that is the truth. When death happens, at least for you, in the end, it will all be fine. But don't ask me if death is the end. I leave you with that question.
Thank you. So that's the end of my discussion, and we will now discuss through question answers. Thank you everyone who participated in this. Just to summarize, what did we discuss today? First of all, the importance of adding emotions, adding micro expressions in your speech. Just like drinking, playing, listening to music, reading, all of this is an experience. Similarly, speaking and listening to a speech is also an experience. And to make that experience wholesome, we need to bring all the senses into play. And for that, it is important that we go into graphical details in such a way that the listener, the audience, is able to relate with the story. Not only with the words that we are speaking, but also with the emotions that we are feeling or we have felt when we went through it. So when I talked about my experience about meeting my daughter for the first time, you could relate with all the experiences. You may forget me, you may forget this entire evening, but I'm pretty sure you will never forget the story or the experiences or how I made you feel. So that's the first thing. Second thing, what we discussed is, do not let your micro expressions, emotions hijack your speech. And this is what we practiced. We saw that initially our speech was getting hijacked. Right? We were so much worried about being angry or being sad or smiling that we were just drifting away from the topic. But slowly, 2, 3 speakers later, we started getting the confidence. Yes, we can do it, and we were able to do it. The third, we keep on judging ourselves that we will not be able to express ourselves, that we are not good at micro expressions. None of us are Bollywood actors here, right? So obviously we will have our own limitations. So it is okay for us to play to our strength when we're delivering a speech. If I know I cannot pull off a crying act, I will not pull off a crying act. If I know I can do a smiling act, I will bring in the micro expression when I'm doing a smiling, something that needs a smile. But it is important that the micro expression is suiting the script, not the other way around. Fourth, be confident about it. You don't have to pull off the best version of crying or the best version of smile. You need to express yourself in such a way that at least the audience is able to relate with that particular emotion through your micro expression. And that's all that we need here. There is no Oscar, there's no Academy Award that's going to be given out. At the end of the day, it's about the speech. And lastly, a word of caution, do not try this outside of Toastmasters, because if you are going to have a lot of micro expressions when you're in a review with your boss, his expressions would be dead serious after that. Thank you so much, and we can have any question, answers, discussions, whatever we feel. The floor is open.
I have a question.
Yeah, Toastmaster Ashwini.
Toastmaster Saurav, so we expressed sadness while we were practicing. But if I have to express the expression of being pain, I have the pain in my heart, or probably the despair. I mean, how it would differ from being sad to get into that expression. I mean, just if that difference can be.
Pain as in physical pain?
No. So when I get hurt, I feel pained. So that pain I'm talking about.
Like, ouch! Something like that? No? Or
No,
is
like
it like a
probably-
heartbreak?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay, so it's a heartbreak versus genuinely sad. So it's like, a breakup with my ex versus someone I love.
Yeah, or probably the pain of losing a very good big opportunity or losing a deal for someone who is very aspiring to, projecting to win something and he lost it.
Do you have any such pain in your life? Did you have any story?
Yeah, I mean, just very recent one.
Tell us the story.
Yeah, so there was one opportunity on which I was working on, and my entire performance was dependent on that one opportunity. It was one, I think it was 2 million worth opportunity, and I just by a small delay in follow up, I lost it to my competition. And when I realized that I've lost such a big deal, I was pained. I didn't know what to do. I was feeling that I'm one of the biggest loser on this earth when I lost this. So if I have to express this, how would I do that?
Do all of us
Probably.
feel that she expressed it now? Did we feel the pain of her losing that big opportunity? The way she was talking? No? Yes, no. How many of you feel that she expressed it? I thoroughly got that pain. The moment you started speaking about that particular story, right? I could actually relate with your pain. And it's totally okay that the audience is half divided. Some of us felt the pain, some of us did not feel the pain. When Deepika Padukone cries on the screen, some of us see how funny she is, the way she's crying, and some of us start crying with her. Now she won't change her style of crying because 50% of the audience was not crying when she was crying. Trust me, Ashwini, when you were telling that story, I could actually feel your pain. The pain that you had gone through when you were, and why did I feel the pain? Because it was a true story. You did not cook it up. There was a lot of sincerity. If there is sincerity in the incident that you're narrating, trust me, you do not have to try hard to bring that expressions on your face. They will naturally come because you're not a robot. We don't need to do any separate programming to bring that expression on your face if the story is sincere. If there is a cooked up story, then it's a different thing. That's why tall tales are difficult than international speech contests. That's why most of the districts have stopped doing it, right? So that is a difficult part. But then when you're telling a true story, a sincere story, it will naturally come to your face. When you were telling about this lost deal, trust me, at least I could feel it, and I know quite a few in the audience could feel it. And we saw thumbs up, we saw people raising hand because it was coming out. And it was impromptu, you did not prepare for it. Right? So just be sincere, it will come out. If you're talking about someone's death, it will come out. You don't have to try hard. Any other questions? Yes, Chin.
I do have a question. Um, in my usual expression, is usually calm and not very exaggerating, but I do want to practice to show more of expression. What would you recommend to people like me who usually I usually when I talk I just smile or being very calm, or even when I'm angry I suppress my anger, and so it's when I deliver my speech, if I want to act or do some drama, it's awkward for me. I feel not natural and I feel more like acting. Yeah, but I do want to practice that.
But that's my point. Like, I mean, first of all, why do you need to be artificially angry? You need to be genuinely angry, right? The story, the subject, whatever you're talking about, that has to be about an anger. See, get this. Like, when I gave this topic about grow through what you go through, Preeti talked about her experience of going through a lot of things in life which broke her or, made her challenge herself. Maybe your experiences in life are all good about it. You can talk about, you got into an university and how you, went through those years and you walked down the alley and you had so much of fun. And there can be so much of fun in the way you're speaking. Now, if the topic is genuinely something which gets you angry, trust me, you will not have to practice that. It will come across. Like, for example, if I give you a topic, uh, let's imagine a situation where you are, a road rage situation, right? Did you have a road rage situation ever? Someone hit your car or someone with who made an altercation? Did you have that?
Yes, I did.
Did you have to practice? Did you tell him, oh, wait, let me get angry. I'll just practice and come and be angry with you? It comes naturally when someone disappoints you, when someone is shouting at you. You tell that person, okay, see, that naturally does not come to me. Let me just practice and come back with an anger expression. You do not, right? Because it naturally comes to you. So again, it's about sincerity. If you are talking about something which you really feel that way, then anger expression will naturally come to you. I don't think that needs some extra amount of practice. That's my sincere opinion.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Siddharth.
Hi, Toastmaster Sourav. So my question builds on Toastmaster Chin's question from a different side of the other side of the coin. So me personally, I have a very expressive face. I'm generally very expressive with my facial expressions as well as how I modulate my voice. But I think that there are circumstances, there are certain scenarios where if one is very expressive, it's easy to not be taken seriously. So I wanted to hear your thoughts on what are the kind of scenarios, what is the kind of environment where being expressive can be a bad thing. Because and a little more context, TM Saurav, is that I have used this expressiveness and I'd say imperfections in my communication to be able to create a human connection with people in my work in sales back in the day. But I also feel that in internal interactions, sometimes it can intimidate people. Sometimes it can rub people off the wrong way. So I wanted to know your thoughts on how one should perceive when to actually be stone-faced and when to not be expressive also.
Okay, this session was about Toastmaster speeches. You took
Okay.
that step further in terms of the life. So,
Yeah.
what I would say, Siddharth, just be yourself, dude. I mean, you really don't need to worry about, I'm too expressive, I smile too much, I grin too much. I spent a lot of my life thinking that, why am I so serious? My evaluators told me, you are so serious. And then one day I decided that, okay, fine, I'm serious. Big deal. Not everyone in this world has to be a laughing stock, right? Not everyone in this world has to be like, for every chin, there has to be a Sourav. Chin is
Yes.
always smiling and I'm hardly smiling. And that's totally okay. That's her, that's me. That's how God has made her, and that's how God has made me, and there's nothing we can do much about it. So, you know, what we are talking about right now is about building it into a speech. But if you talk about a normal interaction with people, I would say, for God's sake, don't even try that. I mean, why would you even want to, be less expressive because someone feels that you are fake? I mean, a lot of people feel that I'm arrogant because I don't smile. That's their problem. I think they need help. I don't. Okay? So that's
Okay.
my honest opinion. Thank you.
That was useful. Thank you, Toastmaster Sourav.
Toastmaster DTM Kavita, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I was also being on the side of whoever spoke just now.
Siddharth.
Yeah. I am also usually very dramatic and expressive. I don't know if I'm overdoing it. I'm not too sure. I just want someone to guide me and help me out
See,
there.
if it's a speech, a contest speech, to be honest, yes, that can actually cost you the marks, because the judges may feel that you are being too artificial, you're not being fake, because that's how you are. But the judges don't know you, right? I mean, they will be the first time they are seeing you, so they will, "Itna, why so much here? I mean, she can just like smile this much. Why she like smiling like this for everything, right?" So there, I think the best thing is for you to run your speech through a few more people, for them to understand that whether you're being too expressive in your speeches.
Mhm.
But Siddharth's question was more about outside of the speech area, right? About
Correct.
interactions and all. That's where I would still stick to what I'm saying, that be yourself. But when you're coming in a contest, obviously you know the contest parameters, right? You know the judging criteria. And it is important that you bounce your speech off a few people who don't know you so well, because the judges will be the ones who will not know you so well, right? And ask them that, is it like too much of expression? Am I trying to be too much funny? Am I coming across as someone who's trying to, like, make people laugh by doing some slop, some kind of a slapstick comedy? So I think it is important for us, and that comfort zone is very important. Like, when I started my engaging humor path, and I told you, right, before engaging humor, I had completed 3 paths, and in all these paths, all the evaluators had told me that smile, make people laugh, and I was not able to do that. So I decided I will take the engaging humor path and challenge myself to make people laugh. And what I did is I did most of my speeches in engaging humor in US clubs and European clubs, right? So imagine making a native English speaker laugh on Indian jokes, right? And it is very difficult because half of the time they don't even get the context.
Context.
I have to think of different kind of scenarios and all that. So what I first did is I did a lot of research on humor and understood that there are various genres of humor. So there is highbrow humor, there is deadpan humor, there is lowbrow humor,
Mm.
slapstick humor, and I found out that deadpan humor and highbrow humor is my thing, and I would never be able to pull off a lowbrow humor. A highbrow humor is where basically you talk. A deadpan humor is something where you are cracking a joke with a very straight face, so everyone is laughing except you, and that's the deadpan humor, which goes very well with my personality. The highbrow humor is something where you make a joke which is a little sarcastic, which is a little dry. Only a few people in the audience will get it, and that's okay. A lowbrow humor, on the other hand, see the one like you laughed, no one else did, right? So, lowbrow humor, on the other hand, is something like giggling a person, tickling a person, so that everyone in the audience starts laughing. So, I understood the kind of personality I have. If I do a lowbrow humor, I would look like a laughing stock. People would not laugh on my jokes, but on me. And this is what I actually did. I made my debut as a joke master in Deepa's club, in Speech Weavers.
Speech weavers.
Okay, and I was the joke master there, and everyone laughed on me and not on my jokes. And that day I realized that humor, at least lowbrow humor, is not my thing. I try to do a lot of childish jokes, but then today I realized that it's not my thing. That does not mean I'm bad at humor, but just that genre of humor doesn't suit me. So, to the short answer to your question is, we need to find out which line of that expression or which category of that expression suits us well, and then bounce it off with some people who don't know us well enough and who would give us candid feedback that this was too much or this was too less. This is not you, this is you, right? So that would help us for the speeches. I think we are way over time.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
So much. Thank you. And back to you, Toastmaster Anand, and thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Saurav. That was indeed a very lovely day, especially to you and the lovely guest that we have. And before my wife comes to beat me again, please accept this certificate of appreciation. Oops.
Thank you so much.
Can someone take the pic?
Yeah, I'll take it.
Congratulations, Toastmaster Sourav, and thank you once again on behalf of Division M, District 98. We wish to see you more in some of the clubs across District 98 and Division M as well. You and all of your and the remaining, even the audience as well. So photos taken, thank you. And officially, I announce the meeting as closed. I'll stop.